Welcome to the channel where small models fight each other on a map covered with dense forest and the voice of a mumbling man that puts you asleep narrates. That could be my best introduction yet, but still not perfect. Anyway, welcome to the channel and our continuous wars in Scandinavia. In the last episode we subjugated Småland here, made the former Jarl Frej our vassal, and we also inherited his defensive war against Björn Ironside, who is trying to claim the county of Sevede here for his vassal who has a claim on it. And since last episode I looked around and I figured out what to do, and the thinking goes like this. Initially we were trying to be on good terms with the then Jarl Björn Ironside, because he was our neighbor and we wanted him to like us, but since then he has had the audacity to declare himself king, which is unheard of in these parts at this time. And when declaring himself king, he is also saying that our lands should be a part of his kingdom, which is a grave insult. I think, if I remember my little school history teachings correctly, there was no notion of Sweden or any of these kingdoms at this time of age, so for Jarl Frej here, someone calling themselves king and claiming that these lands should belong to the kingdom is unheard of and an insult. So we need to teach him a lesson, and we can do so by, we could either, because we have a lot of war score here because he's not doing so good to him, apart from attacking us or the former Jarl of Småland, he's defending against Själland here. So we already have enough war score to make a white peace, but that wouldn't give us much. It would still be humiliating for Björn, the King Björn, king in the north. Yeah, let's humiliate him. But we're not going to make a white peace. We're going to enforce demands, which won't give us any land, but it will give us money, and it will be much more of an insult to King Björn. And then when we made peace, we can see about, because as cheeky as it is for him to declare himself king, it has surely given Jarl Frej ideas that there are titles greater than that of a Jarl, because a king, when you call yourself king, you say that all the Jarls should be your subjects, right? And with all these new lands, Jarl Frej is getting the idea that maybe I should be a king, and let my daughter and heir Asta inherit the kingdom instead of a jarldom. So let's see what we can do about this. First, we have some money. We're losing prestige because we have our men-at-arms raised, but money won't be a problem because I noticed that this Welsh nobleman who we captured while raiding down here, I have been holding him prisoner while waiting for his father to gather enough gold for the ransom. And last I checked, the father here wasn't even close, but now he has 152 gold, and he can therefore ransom his son, I think it is, Artfil Gwent Cadfili. Artfile Gwent Carefully. I will continue to try and get those Welsh names right. So let's ransom him for 100 gold, which is a lot. It's good money. And also, if we do win this war, well, the only thing we really need to do to win it is to make sure that King, you call yourself King? God, well, anyway, that King Björn here doesn't siege down the war goal, and so far it doesn't look like he will be able to, because he is in 2 wars and he's losing them both. And we can also call on our ally, our father-in-law, Chieftain Alfgeir of Sognir. He will bring not 900 men, that's his. He will bring a good-sized force to aid us in this, and we helped him with his war of conquest up here. So it's only right that he should accept our call to war here, and he will. And we already have our troops raised, because we didn't unraise them after conquering Småland here. We could also raise more forces. A couple of 100 men more are waiting here, but for now I don't think we need them. So what I'm going to do, because his army at the moment is no threat to us, so we will win as long as he doesn't take our capital or siege down the war goal. But let's speed things up by sieging down some of his lands, and who knows, maybe we can get some more prisoners to ransom. Let's get on with it. You call yourself King. I will teach you. To the charming Jarl Frej of Västergötland, writes my father-in-law, Chieftain Alfgeir. Of course I shall join you in this war. Our foes shall learn to fear the men of Sogn. Excellent. Thank you, father-in-law. To the charming Frej, says a woman who... Yeah, that's right. I had collared her. He was a prisoner of war, and I released him in exchange for his services as a champion, and I married him to this godless absolver, Gyridal. I think you need to be Norwegian or Icelandic to even get close to pronounce these names in a good way, but I think I'm better with the Norse names than the Welsh, at least. Gyridal. I'm starting to sound Norwegian. Let's not do that. No offense to Norwegians, obviously. Nice people. So happy all the time. At least they sound happy. Anyway, let's get on with it. Yeah, she's the wife of my champion. Oh, I had a son. Yeah, like in this game it's patrilineal, the inheritance laws, succession, male preference, yeah, agnatic, cognatic, which means that boys go first, and if there are no boys, a daughter will inherit, but generally, as long as the society and the laws are male preference, daughters will have a much harder time to rule. So in gameplay terms, it's better to have boys. That being said, I kind of like playing female rulers when I play Crusader Kings, and I wouldn't have mind having my second daughter order her, who's quick, inherit, but our wife gave birth to a son who, a Bragi, sounds like a football team from up here, that which obviously is named after the Norse god Bragi. But anyway, let's see about a good Norse name. Freja, I mean that's my name. Fridrikur, Ottar, Angrimmel, Örvar, Stark Adel. My name is Stark Adel. Stark Adel. May you grow to be strong and wise, my son, Stark Adel. Yeah, let's take a look at the boy. Oh, yes, he is quick. My player heir and son. He's a thinker, like his father. Jarl Frej son Korp, the quick little boy. Oh, he's already got 3 prowess. He's a couple of days old and he's got 3 prowess. Yeah, it's because of our culture. So, let's educate him. Oh, I'm already educating my daughters. Let's give my firstborn daughter to be educated by. Yeah, she was the rowdy one. She's going to be a fighter. Let's see if there are any good fighters. Oh, Botilda here. He's a brilliant strategist. She's also lustful, shy, and humble. Yeah. Botilda, my courtier, should teach my firstborn, Asta, to be a shield maiden, I hope. Send proposal. And then let's educate Stark-Adel Freyson Korp, my son and heir. Myself, for now. Later, when he gets older, we would see about what kind of person he grows up to be and who's the best educator for him. But for now, let's take care of him ourselves. And who's leading the army? It's still Aki of Bebbanburg. Oh, yeah, that's right. I also made him my personal champion because he's the best fighter in the realm. So if I, who's not that great of a fighter, I'm meddling at best, get challenged to a duel or something, I have the option to make Aki fight in my stead. So it's starting to be winter, which means I could take Trishan standing around here sieging, so let's wait until spring before we start the siege. He's on the defensive anyway, and our war score is ticking up as long as we control this. Here comes some forces. Oh, it's my ally. Can I tell my allies to do something? I think you can. There's a way to give you allies targets to objectives. Anyway, I will figure that out for another episode. It's March and it's starting to... The snow is melting away. Let's go siege down this tribe here. Purchase truce. What's this? To the sensible Jarl Frej of Westjortland, you and I should be friends, not foes. Please accept this gift in exchange for your signature on a treaty of mutual goodwill. Writes Jarl Sigurdur of Sjælland. So it's... Oh, it's Sigurdur here, who has won his war against the king. I still can't get over that, that he's calling himself king and claiming that my lands should be subjected to him. I mean, that's how modern day Sweden was formed. Kings from up here subjugated the tribes down here. But it's not gonna happen in my playthrough if I have a say in it. It should be the brave people, the brave Jotar here should subjugate Svean up here. That's how it's gonna be. But anyway, Jarl Sigurdur wants to be a friend. It says we haven't been to war, and he wants to pay me 50 gold for a truce, which means that we cannot declare war on each other for 10 years. I mean, I wasn't going to anyway, because he's probably by now, by far, the most powerful man in our part of the world. And we are also working diplomatically to make him our friend. And a couple of episodes back he sent us a real nice poem praising our person. So we like Jarl Sigurdur, and we have had no intention of going to war with him anyway. Our enemy is the so-called King of Sweden, who will not be for long if I have anything to say about it. So of course we shall be friends with Sigurdur here. Maybe we could make a strong alliance. Yeah, we have a truce. That's great, because he has won his war here and he's got a lot of men. So without this treaty of friendship, he might have started to look to our lands for subjugation or conquest. He hasn't got any claims to them, but as a Norse pagan tribal character you can declare wars of subjugation, so he could have done that. But now we are on friendly terms with him. And does he have any children of suitable age? Maybe he wants to marry Aslaug Sigurdsdottir af Sigurdur to my son and heir. That would be... Oh, she's good looking little girl, comely. That would be a great match. Can I? Marry her to, or betroth her to? She will be 5 years older, so chances are that when my son comes of age, she's already taken a lover or something, or They are still young, so many things could happen before they get married, but he surely would like a comely elder woman to guide him into being a man when he gets old. My little son here, and Sigurdur will accept this proposal. They will get betrothed, and I will get a strong, really strong ally. This was a great turn of events. I'm really happy with this. Betrothed my son to the youngest daughter of Jarl Sigurdur, Snake and Eye of Sjælland. Send proposal. And while we're at it, does he have any boys? He has this one who's already... Oh, but he's already grown up. He won't be a good match for my daughters. Apart from that, he's got only daughters. Yeah, so my girls will have to wait, but let's take a look anyway, if there are any suitable matches for them. I can marry this 5-year-old Asta away to betroth her to High Chieftain Bajoras of Prussia. He must be a disciplined man. He's 35, so when she comes of age, he will be older than I am. No, I'm not gonna. She can be a child for a while. If I'm in desperate need of an alliance further along the line, then maybe, but not now. We found a good match for our son and heir, so I hope he's quick and his betrothed are comely, so we are starting our kennel. Is that the English word for when you breed dogs? Kennel? I think it is. But anyway, alliance formed. Excellent. And now, can we call him into this war? He will accept. Yeah, call him. Because I think you pay, if you're in an offensive war, you have to pay prestige to call your allies, but this is a defensive war because the so-called King of Sweden declared war for this county before I was the Jarl of Småland, and I inherited the war when I became Jarl, so now let's siege this. Oh, that's too bad. I would have wanted to siege his capital, since it moved from Uppland to Söderköping down here. But my ally here, my father-in-law, is the siege leader there now, so there's nothing to do about it. Of course I shall join your wars as my newest ally and friend, Jarl Sigurdur. And here comes... oh, it's good that I called on allies, because his force is larger than mine. And he's coming here, my enemy, the so-called king. You will not be king for long. And here comes Sigurdur. Oh! Growing strong. It's my daughter Auder. The weakness that has plagued my daughter since her birth has finally released its hold on her. Relief washes over me as I see Auder running around with all the other children. Yes, it surely does. Because when she was born she was sickly. And now she's a healthy 3-year-old, quick, charming little girl. I'm really starting to like Auder here. I think Well, as a parent, you're not supposed to have favorites among your children, but Jarl Frej certainly do, and his favorite is his second-born daughter, little Audel Freisdotter Korb. I wish I could make her. Oh well, I mean, Starkadr here is a decent boy too. Maybe he will grow up to be likable as well. But so far, Audel here is the apple in my eye, so to speak. A creeping suspicion. Who's this? This is my wife. There is something odd about my wife, High Chief the Thief, but I cannot quite put my finger on it. Perhaps it is just my imagination running amok. Nevertheless, that ominous feeling is keeping me up at night. So I have a creeping suspicion about my wife. She's my wife and my soulmate and lover. And my character he's a cynical guy, he's patient, generous, and he is lustful. Usually this is a sign that you have the paranoid trait, but I certainly do not, so let's figure out what to do. I will look into this immediately. What's going on here, Thief? Tell me the truth. I am being paranoid. So I gain stress if I choose this, which is not good, but I think that's the sensible choice, because as far as this is a surprise for me, as far as I know, I have no reason to suspect her of anything. My spy master hasn't said anything. There are no rumors at court that she's not true to me. Had I been a paranoid character, I would have looked into this. Had I been a more not that of a thoughtful thinker than I am, I might have confronted her straight away. But I think that I am being paranoid and I have to gain the stress, because this is what my character would think. Later down the line, if something else reveals itself, then so be it. But for now, it's just a creepy feeling, you know. You get them sometimes. Oh, something is wrong. And you start to think that all kinds of things are wrong, and then you realize that no, it was just all in my head. Maybe she's tired of all the wars going around and me being away on raids all the time, you know. She's my soulmate, my wife, and the mother of my 3 children. I have no reason to suspect her of anything. So the so-called king is trying to siege down murder here. I will leave him to it while we siege up here. I wish I could. Can I tell him to? No, don't abandon siege. I was afraid we would lose the siege progress, but I really wish I could tell him to go fight this. I know there is a way, but I have to look into this, but no, let's run the game. We're going to win this war, as long as he doesn't take the war gold. Puridal, your concubine, my spy master. Oh, so she's pregnant, which is not necessarily good news for the Jarl here, because she's my intriguing spy master, and if she has a son, she might start thinking about getting rid of my son Stalgarder here to put her son in a better position for the inheritance, but since I have concubines, there's not much I can do about it. Oh, he's itched down murder, but I have 100 war score and can win the war, so we have defeated the so-called King of Sweden when he was trying to conquer a country here, and we will enforce our demands on him. I keep the title, which means that my vassal here, the chief of Sevede, will be grateful for me for defending him and his lands. And Chieftain Rikulfur, who is the vassal of the so-called king here, loses his claim on the county. Last time I checked, there was... Oh, maybe it's because I called all those allies. They have to get their share of the gold as well, because last time I checked it was over 100 gold in War Guild. Is that the English word? War Guild? Geld is money in German, and Geld is an old-fashioned Swedish word for debt. So I suppose English, because of War Guild, I seem to remember I've heard this being called that, so maybe the English language inherited this Germanic word Geld, and has it in their language as the term Wargeld. Well, anyway, I think you know what I'm talking about. He will pay me 37 gold, and my allies as well, and yeah, let's enforce demands on the so-called king here. He says, "May you live in harmony and contentment. I know when I am defeated. It seems I am left with no choice but to comply with your demands," says King Björn Ironside. I'll have to see about... I will have to see about what to do with this king here, because Jarl Frej has... I don't think he had any real desire or ambition to be king or a great conqueror, but when someone rises up here and proclaims themselves king, and by extent says that all these lands should be mine, you should all bow to me, he has to react, and his reaction is not benign or in any way thinking about becoming a vassal. So either he wants to become king himself, or he wants to dismantle the kingdom. Anyway, let's see about that in the next episode. So for now, thanks for watching and goodbye.